All right, what a great tournament. The World Juniors, countries from all over the place, bright young talent. Congratulations, USA. Outstanding tournament. You proved that you could do it in the big game. Goaltending was exceptional between Canada and the United States. Devon Levi was awesome, out of this world. And Spencer Knight showed me a ton because he pooped his diaper the first game of the tournament, but he bounced back and showed great character. As they move on to become professionals, it'll be interesting to see the journey with that franchise, the Florida Panthers, because they have both kids. They've got Spencer Knight in the first round and 7th round pick, Devon Levi. Here's the thing, because of Levi's height and the fact he's a 7th round pick, he's gonna have to prove he can play for the Florida Panthers. A lot of time in the minors in all likelihood. Spencer Knight, on the other hand, super tall kid, 1st round draft pick. He'll be given every opportunity to make it. He's gonna have to prove he can't make it, while Devon's gonna have to prove that he can make it. That's the dynamic going forward with that. Today in the video, we've got a bunch of cool drills with Cole Sheffield. We're gonna talk about crease movements and variations that he uses. Great warm-up for you, so take a look at those. As well, I'm gonna sit down with Jason Vince Bronson and talk about head coaches. Are they a positive? Are they a negative for their goaltenders? And give the head coaches specific advice on how to manage your goalies. So today, let's get right into it.
All right, Cole, we're gonna do 3 different angles today, okay? So we're gonna start center, we're gonna start on the glove side angle, we're gonna move to the center, then to the blocker side angle, okay? We're gonna do different movements between each one, add things in as we go, okay? The first one, we're gonna be doing shuffles and hold, okay? So no rush, hold for about 2 seconds at each position. We're gonna go around and back twice. Okay, same thing. We're adding in a butterfly at every angle. So butterfly, up, shuffle. Okay, butterfly, up and shuffle.
So we like recover into it, or just get up and then?
Recover into it, yeah. But shuffle, not T-push. Make sure you don't open up. Okay, next variation is going to be 2 shuffles, okay, and then a hold. 2 shuffles and a hold. Stay at the top, stay up higher. That's better. Good. Okay, our next variation is going to be butterfly with a T-push. Butterfly, T-push. Good. Okay, our next couple variations are going to be skipping the middle. Okay, so for this one, make sure we get a little bigger pivot. Okay, open up, long drive across. When we're going across, that pivot can't be too big that we're getting too low and arcing out. We want to make sure we're getting a somewhat straight line across. It can be arced slightly to get over there, but make sure you're not going too deep. Okay, we're going to T-push and hold for 2 seconds on the outside angle. So fully squaring up to the outside angle and hold. Okay. Good, last one. Okay. Same thing. Okay, T pushes across. We're going down on our butterfly on that outside one. And when you go down in your butterfly, make sure you're staying square to the angle so that we're rotating and getting our pivot on our recovery, okay? So don't rotate when we're going down, rotate on the recovery. Two more. Okay. I want you to do a couple more, okay? And I want to show the difference on driving on the save, or sorry, rotating on the save, as opposed to rotating on the cover. So that one we went down square. This one I want you to rotate as you're going down, making that save like we're going across. So rotate into that save, and then you're up on that angle that you rotated on and straight push across, okay? So showing the difference between going down square and going down rotated, okay? Good. Good, rotate into it, good. 2 more, rotate into the save. Good, last one, rotate into the save. Good. The next one is going to be drive down your butterfly, shimmy across, okay? Two more. Okay, same thing. You're gonna do the exact same one again. Square, and then rotate before you shimmy. So don't rotate into it as you're going down, right? So down square with the angle, rotate, shimmy across. Good. Good, last one. Good. Okay, 2 more here. Okay. The last one, or sorry, second last one is going to be a sliding butterfly across. Okay, so just from here, sliding butterfly across, up to your feet. Hold there for 2 seconds. Don't just automatically get up and slide again, okay? Up and hold. Good, up, hold, go. Good. Good, 2 more. Good. Okay, so same thing we've talked about in the past, right? Keep working on when you're sliding across, getting that toe out a little bit more so it's not getting underneath you. You're doing a great job with your hands leading out in front. Sometimes that pad will get a little bit behind you underneath your butt. Get that toe out, lead with your leg. Okay, last one. Last one, we're gonna go back to our 3 stations here, okay? And the first one that we're gonna do here is we are gonna go T-push to the center, butterfly, okay? Save off your blocker side pad, so extend that leg, okay? And then shimmy off to that side following a rebound, okay? And then up to your feet, hold your stance again on the outside, okay? Yeah, shove, yeah. Good, down, save, good. Extend that blocker side leg a little bit more. Okay, so not just your stick, I want the pad out, like you're making a pad stick save, ready? Shuffle, extend it, good. That's better, that's what I want. Good. Good, 2 more. Good, last one. Good, okay. Why are we kicking out that leg in the center here? What's the difference between that and just going down your normal butterfly?
Well, because when I'm making a save, I'm kicking my leg out.
Yeah, exactly, and then it's a different movement, right? So when you kick that leg out, in order to shimmy over across, you have to bring it underneath you a little bit more to get that balance, right? So if you're just doing a normal butterfly all the time when you're doing these movement saves, right? You're not practicing that save motion. Then when you go to do that, it's not going to be as natural because you're not practicing, okay? Right. Keep working on it, kick that leg out every once in a while. Do different things so you're used to those different movements, okay? Want some water? You got water? Why don't you bring water?
All right, over the years, we've come across head coaches that have done a great job with their goaltending situation. And we've also come across some horror stories. And we wanted to talk today about what it's like, what we look for in a good hockey coach with respect to managing your goalies. So what do you look for as a good head coach when you're coming out for team practices and working with one of your goalies? What do you like about a head coach, the way they treat their goalies?
One of the biggest things that I always look for, and I'll talk to coaches all the time if I see them doing it improperly, is how they manage their players during practice. And what I mean by that is, do they build in proper gaps between the shots, or are they sending 3 or 4 shots at a goalie rapid fire? Goalies need a good gap in order to recover and sometimes even follow rebounds. So if you're not leaving enough time for them to make the proper save, watch the puck a little bit after, and then recover fully before the next shot's coming in, you're not giving them enough time. I'm not saying that you have to give them enough time that they have to fully play out and follow every rebound. However, if they don't have time to make a proper save, go down and get back up before the next shot's coming in, those shots are way too tight. I'm also looking for types of drills that they do, right? Are they goalie friendly or are they stuff that isn't game realistic? One of the biggest ones that I see is coaches are great with designing flow drills for their goalies, for their players. And they'll have them doing a whole bunch of passes and twists and turns and stops and starts in the neutral zone. And then all of a sudden the player gets the last pass just over the blue line and he cuts right to the middle of the ice and shoots from between the hash marks.
Yeah.
And it's not realistic. You don't get many shots from the middle of the hash marks every game. Normally they have to drive around a defenseman, they're getting shots from the wing or shots from the point, and then some loose stuff is played out front in the slot. But how often is a guy driving in from the blue line and getting a shot right from the middle of the slot? It's not realistic.
It's not realistic, and a lot of coaches deliver drills that they would have learned when they were a kid. And back then, you can imagine how bad coaches were for goalies then. It's stop the puck, stand up, basically, that mentality. But for me, I've always believed in proportional training. So in the course of the game, the goalie sees some line rushes with defensive support, and they see some zone entries and some zone setups. So the puck's in the zone, they're following it around, and there's coverage. However, in most practices, it's 90% flow drills, 3-on-0s, 2-on-0s, breakaways with no pressure, and it doesn't realistically give a goalie an impression of what's going to happen in a game. So they're not really proportionally training. So I think my advice for head coaches to pass along what Spront said is build the gap in the drills and make them as realistic as possible. And another one we have is the myth about goalie skating. Now a lot of coaches will say, oh yeah, I skate my goalies, and then they put them with the whole team. So what can a head coach do to make the skating portion of practice more beneficial for the goalies?
Well, goalies do all kinds of camps and clinics and stuff, and they have tons of drills and skating drills that they could do on their own. And if you just tell them that they have to spend the same amount of time that the players are skating doing their own goalie skating, then they are able to come up with enough goalie skating drills and stuff that they could do on their own. And there's lots of examples too that if you want them to do something similar to you, there's lots of drills that you can modify for them doing goalie specific skating as well. I have some coaches that allow their goalies to just do crease movements while their guys are doing the circles. Awesome. If they want the goalies to do the circles as well, have them do them in their stance. So they're working on their seat cuts with their left leg, their right leg, both legs going forwards and backwards. At least it's giving them something goalie specific that you can do. The suicides, right? If you have players doing suicides where they're doing touching all the lines and going down to the other end of the ice, the goalies can do something similar in a smaller area where they're working on their transitions back and forth as well. So there's lots of options, but player skating, full strides, crossovers is not as beneficial to a goalie as it would be if they were to spend that time working on goalie-specific skating.
And there's the lifelong myth. Goalies do not have to be the best skaters on the team. They have to be the best goalie skaters, which means in that contained space around the crease, they've got to be the best at that. So anything they can do in practice to mimic and develop and grow that's better. Skating with the team, not going to hurt them, but it's not going to help them as much as if they end up in their own net working on crease movements. It's like you're not going to become a better putter as a golfer by working on your slap shot. That's what it means. Another thing with practice, headhunters. You've had them, I've had them. If you've played goal, you've had them. How do you manage an idiot in practice that's shooting at your head all practice? So from a goalie perspective, what do you tell your goalies on how they should manage headhunters in practice?
There's a couple different ways you can do it, and some of them are a little more aggressive than others. The first thing I would say is don't just automatically react and yell at him and curse him out in front of everybody or shoot pucks at him or throw your stick at him. Don't be overly aggressive in that manner. It's not going to help. Sometimes that just eggs those guys on even more and they think it's funny and they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Right? So my first advice would be have a conversation with him. Pull him aside somewhere where he's not in front of everybody else. Talk to them and say, hey, listen, we've had a couple too many up near my head. Can we try and tone it down a little bit? I just don't like getting hit in the head, just like you wouldn't like getting hit in the head either, right? Start off with a little conversation with them. If it escalates past that, you can have a chat with the coach. Maybe he'll be able to get across to that kid as well. And if it still keeps going, then you just play him differently. So if you know there's a guy that always shoots the puck, tries to go bar down, and misses a lot, weighing him by your head every time, don't go down. Stand up. Let him shoot the puck by you standing up, right? And then try for the next kid who comes down, right? And play normally. And if it's still not working, just leave the net.
Let him shoot at the empty net.
Let him shoot an empty net.
Favorite. That's a Keek's favorite.
Let him shoot an empty net. He's not going to like that for very long.
I always love online, you see goalies that, they're big on fighting, and I'll show him, I'll protect my crease, and guys that headhunt, I'm going to fire the puck at him, that'll teach him. All it does in most cases, it just exacerbates it, creates a rift with your teammates. So if you manage it in a professional way, it'll likely get handled properly. Don't be that guy showing off how good you can Ron Hextall the guy in the corner by firing one off his ear. Don't get into it. Just be the mature guy. So that's all we'd say about handling practice. And the last thing I'd say about being a coach is the messages that you send to your goalies, because sometimes there's a confusion. So like say a goalie got beat when he was down on a backdoor play, the coach can't be saying to the kid, you got to stand up, because they're getting conflicting messages from their coach. So talking about the topic of how should a coach properly talk to their goalies?
I think they should try and be a little more educated on it and do some research themselves and finding out what goalies should actually be doing. Talk to a goalie guy, have a goalie guy talk to him, a goalie coach, somebody on your team that might know more about goaltending. Try not to give them misinformation. So as Keek said, if they're getting scored on high, it doesn't necessarily mean they have to stand up to make more saves. It may mean you have to challenge out a little more. It may mean you have to stand on your feet a little bit longer and read that shot as opposed to just driving down all the time. But there's lots of different examples too. Like you hear horror stories of coaches saying, I don't want you to go with the puck and handle the puck because I'm scared you're going to make a mistake.
Super common one, yeah.
Well, players make mistakes all the time handling the puck. Goalies make mistakes all the time when they're trying to catch a puck. So you don't want them to never catch a puck again because they might make a mistake. It's part of goaltending. Build it into your game, manage the mistakes, and just make sure that you are getting the correct messaging from your coach and not something that's super extreme. So coaches, try not to be super extreme with your messaging, and if you don't actually know, try not to give them something that may be leading them down the wrong path.
And that's an important topic about the puck handling, because to play in the NHL, to play college, to play junior A, you have to be a great puck handler. And if your coach isn't allowing you to get into that part of the game in the puck handling environment, he's hindering your chances of moving on. Because I can promise you as a scout, when I find a kid that can handle the puck, he's always going to come against a kid that's equal and get the spot.
And the biggest thing with young goalies is confidence. And if you're immediately destroying their confidence by telling them you're not a good puck handler, don't go out on the net and play the puck, it's going to ruin their confidence for years to come in handling that puck. And that's the biggest hurdle that goalies have to get over, is confidence. Show some confidence in your goalies. Let them know you're comfortable with them handling the puck, and they might not be as nervous to do it, hence not as many mistakes either.
Right. So for me, puck handling needs to start young, needs to maintain it, needs to manage it, needs to grow it, and the coach plays a huge role in that, getting the defenseman and the goalie integrated together. And it's a tough team to beat when the kid can handle the puck. So if I was a head coach, instead of ignoring the puck handling issues that you think you're having, is build some practice in there, put some pressure builds in there, get your goalies and your defense working together cohesively, so in the game, other teams can't forecheck you. You're going to win tournaments, you're going to win more games, and head coach, guess what? Maybe you'll go to the NHL. So don't discount puck handling, make it a priority in your practices, and start young. Get the technical skills with the goalies up, passing, shooting, clearing, and then they can work on the cognitive, or the thinking, the decision making, and integrate that with their teammates, and you got an unbeatable team there.